Tonight on Fourth and a Mile, ESPN is facing some more sexual harassment allegations, and one of the names just happens to be a now WWE talent. Stay tuned. Welcome in, my friends, to the show that will not end. This is Fourth and a Mile, presented by Planet Adam, and I am your host, the Pharaoh, or God King, if you will, of Planet Adam. I am Adam Fernandez, and we got a lot of stuff to talk about. First off, this is going to be, I'm doing a trial for a new format, where I'm going to try to make it a shorter show than what it had been, just to see how that pans out. Second off, I will be starting a drawing now for a $20 gift card to Amazon. What you're going to have to do for that, and this isn't starting tonight. Well, you know what? It might even start tonight. You're going to have to go on to the YouTube show and like it, and then also comment down below what kind of sports gear you're going to buy with the Amazon. Now, you don't really have to buy anything sports gear, but I'm just going to be curious and ask you what kind of sports gear you guys are wanting to buy with that $20 gift card from Amazon. So it could be t-shirts, it could be a hoodie, it could be a replica ring, although that's going to cost a lot more than $20. But I will be giving away, like I said, a $20 gift card. I'm planning on doing the drawing for that at the end of this month, but it will be starting, I guess, like I said, I guess I'm going to do it tonight. You're going to have to wait for the YouTube download of what you're watching right now. But yes, what you're going to have to do then is shoot it a like, comment down below what you're going to buy with the $20 gift card, and it has to be a sports-related product. Product. You necessarily don't have to buy a sports-related product, but you have to tell me that you are. And then also, you know what? Share the YouTube version of the show as well. Not this version. This version doesn't count if you're going to be sharing the show. This one does not count. So, you have to, A, like the video on YouTube, B, comment down below what you're going to buy, and C, share the YouTube video. We got it? Those are the rules for the drawing for the $20 gift card. Guys, also don't forget, go to bandcamp.com, check out A Bloody Chasm. Tess just told me right now she's starting to love the song. We all know that's my homegirl Jocelyn. That's my homeboy Matt and the rest of the band A Bloody Chasm. That is their song, I Love Rock and Roll. They got plenty of other songs over there at bandcamp.com. Download their music, and like I said in the title page of this, or the description of this, that they have assured me that they will not eat your face as long as you download the music. Now, if you don't download the music, all bets are off. They are more than happy to eat your face if you do not download the music. Not saying they're going to, but you're under no special protection from them eating your face. So, I can't wait for Jocelyn to see this one too because of that. They do rock hard. They're a lot harder than even that song. That's one of their more family friendly songs, to be honest with you. So yeah, go check them out. They are badass. I met Jocelyn live and in person just a little over 3 years ago when she was the lead guitarist of Cancer Slug. She was, or Cancer Slug was playing over at what's now known as San Antonio Music Hall. I met her. I met Alex Story. I met Mike. I didn't really meet Cassie, but she was there. Obviously, she was she's the bass player, but she was not as, I guess, into. And I'm not trying to insult her or anything like that. She just wasn't as outgoing, I guess, is the best way to put it, as the rest of the band. So, and more power to her for that. I can't blame her at all. But anyways, so she's Jocelyn is cool as shit. One of the coolest girls you'll ever meet. And I think if I remember correctly, I was contributing to the delinquency of a minor that night because I bought her a couple shots. I don't think she had turned 21 yet. So you didn't hear that from me, at least. So let's go ahead and get on with the. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and try to make this a shorter video than what I have been because I'm trying to see if that's more along what people want to see instead of the longer news-filled podcast segment like I had been doing. So let's go ahead and start with the big news of the day, at least in my opinion. ESPN is in trouble again. A former employee named Adrienne Lawrence, is claiming that she was a victim of sexual harassment during her 2-year tenure at ESPN from 2015 to 2017. She was part of the first wave of terminations that ESPN had. If I remember correctly, that was probably about a year ago exactly, I think. But she was there as part of ESPN's fellowship program. She is an attorney. She was working as an associate for a major law firm. And in case you don't know what an associate attorney is, it's an attorney that has taken the bar exam, but they have not gotten the results back yet. So she can't exactly practice as an attorney, but she can still work at a law firm and do a lot of the stuff that paralegals do and a lot of the stuff that paralegals can't do. She just can't represent someone in court. So anyways, her claims are including, but not by any stretch limited to, male members of the staff at ESPN keeping scorecards of female members of the staff, meaning, where they rank them 1 through 10 is how hot they are, that kind of thing. That the female staff were threatened with termination if they get pregnant and have to take time off, and also being denied opportunities. In her case, what she's saying is she wanted to cover the Derrick Rose trial in Los Angeles, and she was denied the opportunity because of pretty much the fourth allegation that she's making, which is she was saying that there was quid pro quo going on there, as far as it was like sexual harassment quid pro quo. God, I hate saying that. Quid pro quo. There we go. Which, if you don't know what quid pro quo means, it's basically Latin for something for something. In other words, it's in her situation, what she's claiming ESPN did was they offered her. Well, let me put it this way, because she's naming two people in particular: John Buccigross and Jonathan Coachman. Jeremy, I see you're here. I know you know who Jonathan Coachman is. That they were offering her basically mentorship is what they were offering her. Offering her mentorship to get her to where she wanted to be at ESPN. And according to her, it was based on, well, if I'm going to do this for you, then you got to do something for me. Wink, wink. That's what she's basically saying. But those are two of the names that were brought up, John Buccigross and Jonathan Coachman. They were brought up her claim as on-air talent that engaged in the quid quid pro quo. God, I hate saying that. Grooming is what she called it. It's mentorship, but with a sexual twist. They called that grooming. Lawrence even asserted a claim that Jemele Hill had a racially motivated voicemail from Chris Berman, who is one of the all-time big names at ESPN, by the way, a few years ago, in which she was saying that that Jemele Hill got a voicemail from Berman while they were in a spat, and he was using highly racial terms and was just really being bullied to Jemele Hill. However, today Jemele Hill has come out and she has said that, or she has basically denied that that voicemail was like that at all. She says that they had a disagreement in the office, that it was handled very professionally, very expediently, and Chris Berman did nothing of the such. And she's actually saying that she's offended that Lawrence would bring up that situation and basically embellish the facts of said situation. So that kind of makes you wonder how honest Adrienne Lawrence is being. Now, she may very well be, and that may very well have been the case. I don't see it in Chris Berman personally, but I don't know the guy off of camera, off the screen. And so that very well might have been the case. So I'm not saying that it wasn't. I'm just saying that Jemele Hill is denying it. And Jemele Hill has been one of the, if not the most outspoken people from ESPN that is the figurehead of woke sports. So if she's denying it, I have to kind of believe her. At the same time, she might just be trying to save her job at ESPN and by saying that it's BS. But at the same time, considering her personality and stuff that she's tweeted in the past, I would actually have to believe her on this case. So yeah, Hill said that she's disappointed and that it was all over exaggerated. Now, that also brings up another issue. Back in December, ESPN president John Skipper resigned, and he resigned citing substance abuse issues, which back then, when I first heard about it, I was on this show, and I think I was actually using my phone at the time. I think this was before I got all my whole studio set up, in which I was saying, I kind of doubt that that's the reason why he's stepping down. He had just recently, within the past couple weeks before that, had signed this brand new deal as the ESPN president, in which he was making buku bucks. I don't see him stepping down because of substance abuse issues like that. And yes, I am drinking Dr. Pepper from Whataburger. So I'm hoping to maybe get a sponsorship from Whataburger too. Now, here's the thing with John Skipper resigning about that. And like I said, I don't think it had to do with substance abuse issues. I have no evidence of this other than the fact that he just got a big promotion and a contract extension. It sounds to me more like the heads at Disney who own ESPN were possibly aware of some sexual harassment allegations about to be made against John Skipper and decided to go ahead and let him go, but let him go on his own terms. That's not saying that he wasn't having substance abuse issues. I'm just saying that that's more of what it sounded like to me at the time. And so when it comes to this issue here, a lot of her claim is based on issues that happened in the 80s and issues that other people have written about or spoken out about. But she wasn't there for really any of that. And she was a little girl back in the 1980s, I think I'm maybe slightly older than her. So, yeah, she wasn't working for ESPN at that time. And basically the allegation against Jonathan Coachman is that while he was mentoring her, he had basically asked her out. She said she had a boyfriend, and he left it alone, and essentially, according to her, he stopped mentoring her. To me, that doesn't sound so much like sexual harassment. That sounds more like, well, shit, I got shut down or shot down, and I don't want it to go too far, so I better go ahead and end this relationship with her right now. That's what that sounds like to me. Well, Coachman today went ahead and on a bit of a Twitter tirade against the allegations made by her, and so I'll go ahead and bring up these tweets here for you guys. Let me get them set because I did not set them earlier. All right, so this is the first one. He says on here, "I will address this only once because I am seething today. In 21 years of being a professional, I have never been more offended in my life. In my I'm assuming he's saying in my 9 years, I can't count on one hand the amount of times I interacted with anyone other than a co-anchor. To allow someone to spread such vicious," and let me bring up the other one here, or the second one, I should say, to spread such vicious lies and flat-out fabrications is not okay, and it's time someone stood up for themselves. Jemele Hill addressed her lie last night. I am not a part of this lawsuit because I have never done anything wrong. My reputation speaks for itself, and anyone that has ever worked with me," and let me get the third one up here. Okay, "anyone that has ever worked with me will back that up. I am also offended that someone can dangerously throw people's names into something for the clear attempt at getting headlines. This is the only time I will address this because I am not part of this lawsuit. My heart goes out to anyone falsely accused of," and I think he pretty much just went on and just put started her tweet right there. So he's vehemently denying this, that he ever did any of this. I've known who Jonathan Coachman is for many years now, as he is now part of WWE, and he started off actually with WWE and spent from 2008 until 2018 with ESPN. And so I've known this guy for a long time in that sense. I don't know him personally. I've never met the guy. And so if he's telling the truth here and she's making all this up about him, then I really, really, really hope that he goes on to sue her for defamation, which can be done. So I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen. I'm not saying that he's innocent. I don't know. Like I said, I've only seen him on TV. I don't know him. I don't know him from Adam. Yeah, but if he's telling the truth here, then I really hope that he goes out and gets her for this. So, but yeah, I mean, that's her allegations, and ESPN has been in a world of trouble for this kind of stuff already. They've been in trouble with things like, well, their numbers are dropping drastically because of the whole woke sports platform that they've been on, and so Jemele Hill has been one of the issues that's going on. I've had my issues with Jemele Hill, but I can't say that I really hold anything against her personally. And if she's denying that that Berman ever sent that kind of a voicemail to her, then I do have to wonder just how strong Adrian Lawrence's claims are against ESPN when that's one of the claims that she's setting forth. So I'm not saying that kind of stuff hasn't happened over there at ESPN, because I really do believe that it has, but I am questioning this young lady in particular. It sounds like she's possibly taking advantage of the other people who have gotten. Buccigross has already been in trouble for sexual harassment, so I'm not denying that I'm not saying that he's a good guy by any stretch of the imagination, but it sounds more to me like she's just trying to grab onto that wave and ride it on in. So again, I can't swear to that. I don't know that for a fact, but that's what it sounds like more to me than anything else. So, all right, for everyone that's just joining, guys, again, this is what we're doing now. I did do the drawing a few weeks back for the tickets to the Michael Graves show at Tonic. Now what I'm going to be doing is a drawing for a $20 Amazon gift card. Now, what you got to do to get that is you're going to have to go over to the YouTube channel, like the show over there, comment down below what sports gear you're going to buy with the $20 gift card. I don't care if you actually go out and get something totally unrelated to sports, but I want you to comment what sports gear you're going to get. And that's going to, I'll go ahead and start doing that tonight. So you gotta go over there. You gotta like the show. You gotta comment down below, and then I want you to also share the video on your Facebook pages. Not a lot to ask, I don't think. Not for $20. Come on. So in some baseball news today, the Royals have signed Jon Jay. Jon Jay has been a bit of a journeyman in his career. He started off with the St. Louis Cardinals. He was there back in 2011 when they won the World Series. In fact, he was playing center field when Alan Craig made that catch at the end of Game 7 to win it for the Cardinals over the Rangers. But he's been around elsewhere since then. He's been with the San Diego Padres. He's been with the Chicago Cubs. And now he's just signed with the Kansas City Royals today. Fact of the matter is his stats have never been great. He's never done anything that's really been standout. But he seems to have always, like everywhere he goes, he wins. So, other than San Diego, but that's because no one was winning in San Diego. So, he's been stellar. He hasn't been, or I don't even want to say stellar. He's been consistent. He's always been a good player. Nothing great, but a good player. So, I think he's going to help out the Royals drastically, who have been in basically a purge of their players because they can't afford to re-sign Hosmer. Hosmer went to San Diego, signed, if I remember correctly, for $150 million. Kansas City can't afford that. Moustakas is still out there. Lorenzo Cain went to Milwaukee. So they've basically lost almost everybody that they had on the 2015 World Series championship team. Now, also, another former Cardinal, Lance Lynn, was approached by Minnesota today. They offered him a 2-year, $20 million deal, and he turned it down. I like Lance Lynn. I personally, if I'm the Cardinals, I want to get Lance Lynn back, but 2 years, $20 million, I don't know how you can turn that down as a starting pitcher that's not really an ace of a staff, but a good, solid, like he was essentially the Cardinals' ace, even though he never really was. He was essentially the ace because he was the most consistent pitcher throughout his whole tenure there in St. Louis. As to where Carlos Martinez is currently the ace, but last year he did not look like an ace at all. Wainwright had been the ace before that. Wainwright has been through injuries over the past 6 years now, and he's just never been he's just never been the Adam Wainwright of 2010 and before. So Lance Lynn turning down 2-year, $20 million offer, that tells me that someone else is offering him a lot more than that. I love Whataburger. Anyways, I'm hoping it's the Cardinals, but I can't swear to it. So that's the baseball news for today. Now we're going to go ahead and get into the last bit of my, if I were a general manager for an expansion baseball team, who would be my top 5 at every position. And tonight we're going to do the starting pitchers. Now, I've told you guys before in the past that my goal as a GM would be to get guys that are that I'm going to be able to have stay around for a while, which means I want younger guys on the team, younger talent that can stick around for 5 to 10 years as the team develops into a better team, so that way I still have you there as being one of the top guys on the team. And so with the relievers last night, I kind of went away from that because relief pitchers have a longer shelf life than pretty much anybody else in baseball. Relief pitchers can go into their 40s and still be effective. But even some starters can be too. Look at Bartolo Colon right now, the premier athlete in all of baseball. Bartolo Colon is, what is he now, 42, 43, something like that. And he's pitching with the Rangers. So starters can go a little bit longer, really, even than any everyday player, but still not as long as a relief pitcher typically. So I was looking at it and I was thinking maybe I should extend the age range here a little bit more, but then I'm seeing these guys that I picked, and I actually like these guys better. The oldest one here is going to be 27 years old. But these 5 guys are guys that I would actually build a rotation around. So, and it just so happens that 2 of them happen to be on the same team, which just so happens to be my Cardinals, by the way. So, let's go ahead and get into it. Number 5 is going to be, let me pull him up here for you guys, from the St. Louis Cardinals, Luke Weaver. Now, here's the thing with Weaver. He does not have a lot of experience. And so that's why he's at number 5 and not higher up. Last year was his only year that he ever pitched in the big leagues. He went 7-2, 3.88 ERA, 72 strikeouts. Not a bad first go round for him. He is still, if I remember correctly, he is still at under the limit to where he will be considered a rookie this year. I'm expecting him to be damn near awesome, if not completely awesome. So maybe not this year, but in the next few years, I think he's going to get better than 7-2, 3.88. This year, he's touted to be probably the number 5 starter in the rotation. So at 24 years old, and that's how he looked in his 23-year-old season. I can't wait to see what he does at 24, 25, 26. So that's why he's my number 5. Now, my number 4 is going to be a guy who has actually been around for a little bit, and this is the 27-year-old. And I'm sorry for all you Houston fans because I don't have a more up-to-date picture of him. But it is Garrett Cole from the Houston Astros. He is not with the Pittsburgh Pirates anymore. They traded him to Houston during the offseason. He figures to be the number 3 starter there in Houston because I already have Dallas Keuchel and Justin Verlander. But he is going to be damn good, especially with Houston. Last year he didn't do all that well, and in 2016 he had an injury-plagued year. Last year the Pirates basically were shit, and so his win-loss record would not be indicative of what kind of a season he had. So I'm going back to his 2015 year when he was at his best, when the Pirates were looking as good as anybody. And in that year, he went 19-8 with a 2.60 ERA and 202 strikeouts. So if he can be with Houston and get those same kind of numbers this year, then that's a guy that I definitely want in my rotation. And I think he can, and I think he will. I think he may very well even take over as the ace of the staff here in a couple of years. Keuchel is only 30 years old, so he's got a few years left in him. But Verlander is, if I remember correctly, 36 years old or so he doesn't have too much longer. So I would definitely put Garrett Cole in my top 5 of guys that I would go for. Now, number 3 is another guy who has been he's had some injury problems himself, but I've seen firsthand what this kid is capable of. And so number 3 is also from the St. Louis Cardinals, 23-year-old Alex Reyes. This guy is, right now he's scheduled to return most likely in May from Tommy John surgery. And I think I've explained to you guys before what Tommy John surgery is. It's basically they replace a ligament in either your elbow or your shoulder, or even now I think they're doing it in knees as well, with another less important ligament, I guess is the best way to put it. And that just because the original ligament had a tear or something really go drastically wrong for that ligament, and so they replaced the ligament. And typically what ends up happening is you don't typically throw as hard as what you were able to at one point, which I'm hoping he does, because that's one of the selling points on him is he's a guy that can go 9 innings and still throw right around 98, 99 miles an hour. This kid throws hard, and he's got an awesome slider. He's got an awesome curveball. I think he's going to end up being really good. If I'm the Cardinals this year, I just bring him out of the pen, let him gear back up to being able to go longer. I would when he comes back in May. I wouldn't put him in the rotation, not unless absolutely necessary. But in his 1 year with the Cardinals, wasn't even a full year. He actually only went, I think, for 2 months with them at the end of the year in 2016. And in that 2 months, he went 4-1 with a 1.57 ERA, which is amazing, and 52 strikeouts. And of that 2 months that he was up there with the Cardinals, I think he only made 3 or 4 starts with them. So that is amazing that he had an ERA that low. It's amazing that he had 52 strikeouts. So I really think that kid is going to end up being something amazing. I'm just hoping, like I said, that he can keep throwing as hard as what he had been before that. So let's go ahead and bring up number 2 then. Number 2 is a guy who is well established already, but he is still very young. By very young, I mean he is 24 years old, and he is already the ace of his staff. And that is Mike Fulmer of the Detroit Tigers. He was the heir apparent to being the ace of the Tigers staff until they traded Justin Verlander to Houston last year. And then when they did that, he became the, no doubt, ace of the staff. Now, last year, his record wasn't, again, indicative of how good of a pitcher he is, simply because the Tigers sucked. And last year, he went 10-12, 3.83 ERA with 114 strikeouts. He is definitely one of the top young pitchers in all of the American League. And the American League has a lot of good young arms. You go down to Tampa Bay, look how many they have. Cleveland, look how many they have. So to put him up there as one of the best young pitchers in the game, I think says a lot about him. And if anybody says that he's not one of the top young pitchers in the game, they just haven't watched this kid pitch. He is awesome. So that then brings us to the number 1 guy, and it's another guy that again has been on the DL quite a bit lately. He is back right now throwing with his current team. He is 25 years old. He is possibly one of the very best pitchers. In fact, I would actually put him in the top 5 pitchers in the game, period, right now. And I would actually probably say the top young pitcher. At 25 years old, I would still declare him to be young. And that is Thor, Noah Syndergaard. This kid is absolutely amazing. If you ever get a chance to watch him pitch, whether on TV or live, I recommend watching him pitch. He is fun as fun can be to watch. He did have an injury last year that basically wiped out his whole season. He came back at the very end. But he's an amazing pitcher. And we'll go back to his 2016 season because last year there's just not enough numbers. It's just a sample size of how good he was. But last year, or rather 2016, he ended up going 14-9 with a 2.60 ERA and 218 strikeouts. This kid is as good as they come. He is legitimate. 25. I honestly believe he's got a good 10 to 15 years left in him. I would say probably closer to the 15 mark. So I really like Noah Syndergaard, and that is why he is my number 1 guy right now. If I were to start, or if I were to be the GM of a expansion franchise in Major League Baseball. All right, guys. So one more time for those of you who are just joining in or have missed everything so far. What I'm going to start doing is when the show gets put on YouTube, and I'm going to download it or upload it rather onto YouTube here as soon as I'm off the air. I'm going to start taking names for drawing, or for a drawing that will win you a $20 gift card. And I'm going to do that one at the end of the month. I haven't decided exactly what day yet, but I'm going to get a $20 gift card, and whoever, you have to go to the video on YouTube, like it on the YouTube channel, comment down below on the YouTube channel what sports gear you're going to buy with the $20 gift card. Again, if you go out and buy something completely unrelated, if you buy yourself a box of knives, I don't give a shit. But I want you to put in the comment section what you're going to buy, what sports gear you're going to buy with the $20 gift card. So lie to me is what I'm saying, people. So yeah, comment and then share the YouTube video. That's not a lot to ask for 20 bucks. Come on, guys, that's not a lot to ask. So that's what we're going to do now for the next couple weeks, and we're going to see just how well that picks up. I meant to keep this video a lot shorter, but I guess it really hasn't been. I'm looking at the live feed right now, and it's already been 36 minutes on YouTube or on Facebook. I'm thinking it's probably closer to 34 minutes. So it's shorter, but not as short as what I wanted. So, anyways, so yes, go onto YouTube, do all that stuff, and your name will get entered in to win a $20 gift card from Amazon. All right, guys. I don't see any questions, any comments, any complaints, concerns, anything like that. Feel free to call me an asshole. Feel free to do whatever the hell you want to do. Yeah, go to YouTube, like the YouTube version. The only reason I was not sure about doing it, about starting drawing tonight, is because I'm already putting this out on the regular Facebook, on my regular Facebook page, just because I wanted everyone to come on in to make sure that you guys are catching the rules of how to win the $20 gift card. So, all right, guys. So if there is nothing at all, oh, Meredith, you're joining at the very last second. Meredith, I might be going out to do some karaoke tonight. I don't know if you're up for it, or if you have to work early in the morning or whatever. So, anyways, but just letting you know, Meredith. Anyways, so yeah, so get to liking, commenting, and sharing the YouTube video, and you will enter to win the $20 gift card. If there's nothing else, guys, I hope you guys all have a great night. Be safe out there, and as always, besos.